Namaste, and thank you for joining this session. Let me begin with a question. Why do most people think about their health only when something goes wrong? When the blood pressure rises, when diabetes is diagnosed, when a heart attack happens, when cancer appears. In other words, healthcare for most people begins after the body has already started to fail. But imagine a different system, a system where we can predict disease before it appears, where we understand the biological risks years in advance, where healthcare is not about repairing damage, but about designing health. That is the transformation happening in modern medicine today. And that is what we are going to explore in this masterclass. The global health crisis. Across the world today, we are seeing a massive increase in chronic diseases. The conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, fatty liver disease, hormonal disorders, obesity, autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, anxiety, and burnout. These conditions are no longer diseases of old age. We now see them in people in their 30s and 40s. Even more concerning is this. Many people live with these conditions for years without even knowing about it, because the early stages of most chronic diseases are silent. For example, the heart disease may begin 20 years before a heart attack or a myocardial infarction. Diabetes begins with insulin resistance long before the blood sugar rises. Fatty liver develops quietly before symptoms appear. By the time the disease is detected, the biological damage may already be advanced. So, the real question we must ask is, why are we detecting disease so late? This is the limitation of traditional healthcare. By traditional healthcare, I mean the evidence-based system, however, a traditional methodology. Modern medicine is extremely powerful when dealing with emergencies. If someone has a trauma, an infection, or requires surgery, the healthcare system performs miracles. But chronic diseases behave very differently. They develop gradually. Poor metabolic health, chronic stress, sleep deprivation, nutritional imbalance, environmental exposures. These processes slowly disturb the body's internal balance. Unfortunately, the traditional healthcare model often waits for a clear disease diagnosis before the intervention. This creates a reactive system. We wait for diabetes, then we treat diabetes. We wait for heart disease, then we treat heart disease. But what if we could identify the biological changes 10 or 15 years earlier? What if we could intervene before the disease appears? This is where modern science begins to change the entire paradigm of healthcare. Let's look into the biological individuality. One of the most important discoveries in modern medicine is that no two human beings are biologically identical. Every person has a unique biological system. Your body is shaped by your genetics, your environment, your diet, your stress levels, your sleep patterns, your microbiome, your lifestyles, and n number of things like that. This means that the same diet, the same exercise program, or the same medication may not produce the same result in two different people. For example, two individuals may follow the exact same diet, One may lose weight and feel very energetic. The other person may develop fatigue and metabolic problems. Why does this happen? Because their biology is different. This is why healthcare is now moving toward personalized medicine. Instead of asking what works for most people, we ask what works for this specific individual. In 2003, scientists completed one of the most important scientific projects in history. It was called the Human Genome Project. For the first time, the entire human genetic code was mapped. Inside every cell of our body lies our DNA. The DNA contains thousands of genes that influence how we metabolize food, how our immune system functions, how our body handles stress, how quickly we age, our risk for certain diseases. Your DNA does not guarantee a disease, however, but it reveals predispositions, traits. It tells us where the potential vulnerabilities may lie. For example, a genetic analysis may reveal increased susceptibility for diabetes, cardiovascular risk, certain cancers, hormonal disorders, your addictions. This information allows us to design preventive strategies much earlier and in advance. Now, let's look into epigenetics, the power of lifestyle. For a long time, people believed genetics determined destiny. But modern science has shown something very important. Genes are influenced by lifestyle. This field of science is known as epigenetics. Epigenetic studies show how environmental factors influence gene activity. Your genes may carry a risk, but whether that risk actually develops into a disease often depends on the lifestyle factors such as diet, exercise, stress, sleep, environmental toxins. In simple terms, your lifestyle can switch certain genes on or off. This means that even if someone carries a genetic risk, they may still prevent disease by modifying lifestyle patterns. This discovery has transformed the way we think about health. Now, let's also talk a very important topic, the gut microbiome. Another remarkable discovery in modern medicine involves the gut microbiome. Inside our digestive system lives trillions of microorganisms. These microorganisms form a complex ecosystem and they influence far more than digestion. Research shows that the gut microbiome affects immune function, inflammation, metabolism, mood and mental health, hormonal balance, etc. Some scientists even describe the gut as the second brain. If the microbiome becomes imbalanced, it may contribute to multiple health conditions. This is why modern medicine increasingly focuses on gut health as a central pillar of wellness. Now we are going a little bit more deeper about the omics. Today, we are entering an era of multi-omics science. Multi-omics means studying multiple layers of human biology simultaneously. These layers include genomics, your genetic blueprint; proteomics, how proteins function inside the body; metabolomics, the chemical reactions involved in energy metabolism; microbiomics, the ecosystem of microbes living within us; epigenomics, how lifestyle influences gene expression. When these biological layers are analyzed together, we obtain a deep understanding of human health. Instead of waiting for disease, we can detect subtle biological changes much earlier. Now let's talk about the new model of preventive medicine. Based on these scientific developments, healthcare is moving toward a new model, a model built on a few important principles. First is biological mapping, understanding the body's baseline health status through advanced diagnostics. Second is precision nutrition, designing dietary strategies aligned with individual metabolism. Third is metabolic optimization, improving the body's ability to generate energy efficiently. Four is neurohormonal imbalance, managing stress, sleep, and cognitive health. Fifth is longevity science, supporting healthy aging and extending health span. Together, these principles form the foundation of modern preventive medicine. Now, let's come to the most important part, introducing the Punarjani program for all of you. At Krishna Healthcare International, we have been exploring how these scientific concepts can be translated into practical healthcare systems. This effort has led to the development of a program called Punarjani. Punarjani is designed as a personalized preventive health architectural program. Participants undergo detailed health assessment, including a proper medical history, evaluation of that, lifestyle analysis, advanced biomarker testing, genomic insights, where appropriate information is collected. Using this information, we create a personalized strategy that includes nutrition guidance, lifestyle optimization, metabolic health improvement, and mainly disease prevention. The goal is not simply to treat illness. The goal is to help individuals understand and optimize their own biology. The final message. Time to wrap up. The healthcare system of the past focused primarily on treating disease. The healthcare system of the future will focus on predicting and preventing disease. It will emphasize personalization, prevention, biological intelligence, long-term health optimization, because ultimately the most powerful medical intervention is not a drug or a surgery. It is knowledge about your own biology. When we understand our body better, we gain the ability to protect it, strengthen it, and extend its vitality. This is the direction medicine is moving forward, and it is a future full of extraordinary possibilities. And thank you for being a part of this conversation. Signing off, Dr. Arun Gangadhar, the founder of Krishna Healthcare International, MD and CEO of Indian International Healthcare Nigeria Limited and National Education and Charitable Trust. Thank you. Bye-bye.